Okay, this is a basic guide to the operation of the Makerbot. Before we begin, this is just used as an outline. I would suggest that you do some reading on your own to figure out how the machine actually works. If you Google Makerbot, they have an online forum that will walk you through the entire building process, the setup, and the operation of the Makerbot. Also, I want to make a note that currently we have the MK5 extruder and we have a DC motor that feeds the plastic into the extruder. We have on order right now, that should arrive any day, a stepper motor that will be a little bit more accurate. But I don't know if there's going to be any changes in how it runs, so right now I'm just giving you the instructions I have on the DC motor, but things could change, so just be aware. Before we start, I also want to show you a few critical positions on the machine. As you can see, here's where all the hard wiring's at right here. All along the side here is the X, Y, and Z circuit boards. Here's the motherboard, and on top, kind of dangling off to the side, right here is the circuit board that runs the extruder and the heater. Also, back here is the on-off button, along with the power cord, right here. And we had to, if you see this big white thing dangling, we had to wire in some resistors because the DC motor kept burning out, but that should be removed by the time we get the new motor in. Alright, what we're going to do today is take a file from the STL from CATIA that we built. In this case, it's an FSU key fob that Professor Muccio designed, and we're going to take that STL and put it into our Replicator G software, and that has a built-in program where we can convert that to a G code, which is the file it has to be in for the Makerbot to actually build this part. Let me see if there's anything else we need to go over in the Makerbot. No. And you also got to excuse the shaky camera work, but I'm trying to hold this and film at the same time. So to begin, we want to open up the Replicator G folder, which I have open already. And this little yellow icon is what you want to click on right here. Double click on that, and it may take a while. This computer's kind of slow, and this is going to open up the Replicator G software. And automatically, you can see that it brings in. This is our old part that we put in here that we tried to make. But I want to take this out and open up our new part, which I have saved in the desktop. So just go to File and Open. And wait, you gotta be really patient to use this computer. Alright, and then on the desktop I have that STL, which is located right here, called the FSU fob, and you want to open that up. And what it's going to do is going to bring that STL file in, and that will allow us to manipulate it, change the scaling, the orientation, add or subtract a raft if we want one, and we can prime it so that it's the most ideal part to make on the Makerbot. Alright, now this file should be located somewhere in this box right now once the hourglass goes away. And currently we don't see it, but I think it could be a scaling problem. I think it might be really, really small. There it is right down there, you can see. Actually, you can't. Let me zoom in. That's the part right there. And you can't really see it at all. So I want to obviously have to scale this up. So I want to go to Scale, and then let's times it by 2 right now and just work from there. So scale it. It's twice as big, and now you can start to see it. So that looks about good, right? At least right now. So let's go over to rotate. We want to build this thing so it's the easiest to build possible. So to rotate it, we want to build it from the ground up so that all the letters can actually be built in. And currently how it's oriented, the letters run this way. And that wouldn't work because when the Makerbot goes over an open space, the excess plastic would droop down. So you want to rotate it. I'll say rotate around the Z axis. Or, right, actually, let me see what happens. Okay, yeah, rotate around the z-axis. So that's not what we want, obviously. So let's go with the x, and there we go. Now that thing's it's laying flat, and it's very easy to build. But you can see that it looks like it might be a little bit below the plane right here. So if we hit lay flat, this button right here, and we should be good. So let's go to move right here just to double check. And right here there's this button that says put on platform. So let's hit that, and this part should raise up a little bit. There we go. So it's now directly flush with the actual build platform. And just to make sure, we'll hit this button right here, which will center it, and now it's directly located in the center. So that looks about like it would be a decent part to make right now. It's not too large. Let me expand this. Alright, so we have our part right here. So let's go to generate code, and this will take this STL and make it a G code. And it says you've made changes to the model. Any unsaved changes will not be reflected. Save model now. We'll go ahead and hit yes, just so we know we can repeat this size if we want to. Actually, alright, so we generated the G code. Alright, here we go. Now it's going to ask you what you're going to be printing on, and like I said, we're using the MK5 cupcake. We don't have the heated platform. We don't have the automated platform, so just go ahead and hit this cupcake MK5, and the material we have is ABS, and hit OK. And it should be going through it right now. And what it's going to do also when it's done, it's going to ask us if we want to put a raft on this. And what a raft is, I have a little example down here. This right here is a raft for a small part. And the reason it would want to build one of these is because sometimes if you build a part like we have, it's not the prettiest, but this gear that we try to build. If you build this, the nozzle's moving around so much, it might end up pushing this part around while it moves, and once the part's off center, you're not going to have the same part that you wanted in the first place. So what we did is it'll ask us to build a raft, and it'll make this around it first. So that way it lays down a square raft, and it builds upon that, so that the raft acts as a base that's more stable, and it has more contact, symmetrical contact to the platform, so it would stay put and allow to build this part. But since we're building a square rectangle, we shouldn't need a raft. We're going to try one without it. This thing's just about done. Okay, so I think we have our G code, and like I said, I didn't build a raft for it. So here's our G code right here. This is a huge file that basically has all the instructions for the machine for what it should do. But you'll notice on the top of every G code, it has the same few settings right here in red. It wants to make sure that the temperature is up to 220 degrees Celsius. The metric, I don't know, the position's the same, and what it will do is it will extrude a little bit of material, and then I'll wait 5 seconds, and then lower back down and begin making the part. Alright, now to actually get the machine primed up, we want to go into the control panel. So up here in File, or in Machine, go to Control Panel. And we want the temperature to be right now at 220. That's degrees Celsius. Just type that in, push enter. And if you heard a click, you'll notice that the relay actually clicked on to start allowing the extruder to heat up. And you can see right here, here's our target, and here is this red line is our actual. So it's going to take a little bit of time to heat up. Don't worry about the coolant fan, we don't have one right now. But for the motor, what you're going to do is have 255 RPM, or actually PWMs, and you're going to put those, I believe, in the forward spot. Just to test it right now, we can pull some plastic out so it doesn't run or hard plastic through it. Hit forward, and you can hear that the motor is turning. And you might not be able to see it turning because it's going really, really slow. But if you bear with me, right now it's going in a clockwise manner in the forward position, so that's correct. So when we do run it, it needs to be run in the forward position, but this is just a test for the control panel. You don't got to worry because the Makerbot will take care of it. Alright, and lastly, you want to line up the Makerbot so it's relatively center in terms of where the nozzle's at to the platform, and you can lower it down manually. And don't be scared to bring it as close as you can. Make sure the platform's on. Alright. Alright, we have that right now. My mistake, actually. Before we do this, you want to run a little bit of material through. So while I'm doing this, we're going to wait for the machine to heat up. But when you do, you want the platform to be centered. Alright, and if you see right now, we're at 86 degrees Celsius. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a two-part video, just so you don't have to wait the 5 minutes. I can't pause this camera because it's on an iPhone. So I'm going to end this right now, and then there'll be a second file for the second part. So stay with.